Hi, my name is Ben Freer. I'm an immigration lawyer for entrepreneurs. And today the topic is the E1 versus E2 visa. The fundamental difference between the E1 and E2 is that they're intended for different types of applicants. The E1 is for traders. In other words, this is for someone who wants to go to the United States to carry on substantial trade, principally between the United States and their own country. So for example, if you have a business that's set up in Canada or the UK, and most of your clients or customers are in the United States, then it's worth exploring the E1 visa. The E2 is completely different. The E2 is primarily for investors who want to go to the United States to develop and direct the operations of a business in which they've invested a substantial amount of money. Since the E1 and E2 visa are intended for different types of people, the requirements are naturally different. But there are a few common requirements. Both visas require the business enterprise and the visa applicant to have the same nationality. Also, that country must have the relevant treaty with the United States. To determine the nationality of an individual, you simply look at their citizenship. To determine the nationality of a company, you look to see if nationals of the treaty country own at least 50% of the equity. Another shared requirement relates to proving intent to depart the United States at the end of the e-visa period of stay. Essentially, an applicant has to show that they have no intention of remaining in the United States permanently. Beyond those two things, the requirements are much different. I'm not going to cover all the details, but in general, E1 applicants will focus on proving the following. First, they'll have to prove the activities of the company constitute trade, meaning exchange involving goods, monies, or services. Second, they have to prove that the trade is substantial. And third, they have to show that the trade is principally between the United States and the treaty country. E2 visa applicants, on the other hand, will be focused on proving that they've made a substantial at-risk investment in a US-based business that will create jobs. If any of you want to see a sample of the documents that you will gather to prove your case, you can check out the US Foreign Affairs Manual section that talks about e-visas. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see a list of suggested documents. Now, of course, you'll also want to look at the website of the consular post through which you're planning to apply to see their specific requirements. So to summarize the E1 versus E2 visa, these visas are intended for different types of people. The E1 is for traders, the E2 is for investors. As such, the requirements and the process for applying are different. If you are interested in either of these visas, I recommend that you reach out to one of the many talented US immigration lawyers that you can find across the globe. And if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, or pass it along to someone who could benefit from it. Thanks so much for your time.